Alabama's 2025 offense will be driven by Ty Simpson. Let's hear what the coaches think and break this down a little more in what Simpson needs to do to get the Tide back to the top of the mountain. Stick around. Let's talk about it. This is Way Offsides. 3, 2, let's go. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome in to Way Offsides, your favorite sports talk here on YouTube. Heavy on the Bama because likely you're a Bama fan. Am I right? Absolutely, I am. Do me a favor before we get started. Go down in the comment section. You know the drill. Leave a big roll Tide. Let me know where you're watching from while you're there. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a thumbs up on this video. We're going to talk about Alabama's quarterback today. And folks, we are 1 week removed from the start of the college football season. Week 0 starts today as we're recording this on Saturday, the 23rd of August. You've got Iowa State, Kansas State today. You've got Hawaii playing later on tonight over there on the island. There is a lot going on already, and week 1 hasn't even gotten here. College Game Day is teasing us with tearful promos of Lee Corso's last headgear pick. It's going to be a crazy one next week. You've got a ton of games. You've got Texas, Ohio State. Friday night, Auburn goes over to Baylor. I think you've got LSU, Clemson. Just an absolute tear of games next weekend. And of course, for us, the Tide will head down to Tallahassee to take on the Seminoles, who will be basically a new unit all the way across the board. I think you've got like 40 something new players. You've got new staff all over the place. They bring in Gus Malzahn, offensive coordinator. It's going to be a very interesting matchup for Alabama. And I think we're going to learn a lot about the Tide in that game and what our expectations should be for Alabama defensively and offensively going through the season. Obviously, it all starts with the quarterback. It's all going to start with Ty Simpson, who you already know was named last week the starter for the FSU game. But there's been some kind of, I don't want to call it controversy. It's not really controversy, but there's been some coach talk regarding Alabama's quarterback position and how he will, how Ty will handle things, how he will captain this ship under the tutelage of Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer. It started with Grubb last week, kind of talking about last year's offense compared to this year's offense. He was posed that question, and he discussed the difference in the quarterback approach, right? That the offensive play calling was to Jalen Milroe's strength last season, which was on the ground. Just because there was, he didn't say this part, but this is why he was saying this part, just because there were inconsistencies in the passing game. And now coaches are really talking about Ty Simpson in the sense that this offense will be quarterback driven. Unlike last year, which not to say that it wasn't quarterback driven, it was, but at the same time, Alabama didn't really have a consistent quarterback playing. And again, that is okay to say. But Kalen DeBoer had this to say about what he wants from his starting quarterback in 2025. He said, we're really quarterback driven. For him to keep the ball moving gives him more opportunities to go make the next play. If that means using his feet, that's certainly what he needs to do. Now, I think a lot of people around the country, Ty Simpson has kind of been a quiet name. He was a 5-star recruit, big-time recruit coming out of high school, but he's been a quiet name. So people who aren't locked in with Alabama maybe don't necessarily realize that he came out as a dual threat. Ty Simpson's got wheels. He's got wheels. This guy can run. And I think that's going to be a big part of what Alabama tries to do throughout the season, especially while Jam Miller's out, because Kalen DeBoer did say this week after practice that there's a pretty big drop-off, significant drop-off in what Jam Miller brings to the table compared to the other running backs. And I think he used the term higher level. And so I would imagine that if you've got a player that can do multiple things, if you've got somebody who can run the ball, who can distribute the ball, you want to utilize both of those things. Now, the difference is last season, Jalen Milroe was a run-first quarterback. That was the best part of his game. That was what he brought to the table. That's what made him scary for defensive coordinators. You don't believe me? Ask LSU. But when he was on, you saw a completely different team, i.e. first half of the Georgia game. Milroe was spot on, distributing the ball, but then also with his legs, and it was impossible for Georgia to stop. Absolutely. And they made a couple of changes at the half that made Jalen Milroe uncomfortable. I think Alabama took its foot off the gas a little bit there offensively in the second half, and things changed. Couldn't move the ball as well as effectively in the second half without that one big play to Ryan Williams to kind of win it all. Ty Simpson will be the opposite side of that coin. Yes, you are going to want to encourage him, I'm sure, to sit in the pocket, go through his reads, assuming the offensive line gives him the time he needs to do that. And then if it breaks down, bail, make a play, use your athleticism, like you said. I would imagine that Ryan Grubb understands this better than anybody and would have specific plays drawn up in the playbook for Ty Simpson to move the ball on the ground. The other thing is you've got 3 quarterbacks in that room who can basically do this. Kalen Russell's younger guy, so we don't know how far he is in his progression and development, but Austin Mack has been in this system for a very long time too. So it's an embarrassment of riches for Alabama at the quarterback position. They're all talented, slinging the ball, distributing the ball, passing the ball around, and running the ball. And it's a big aspect of Alabama's game that I think folks aren't realizing. If you listen to old Bear, the guy that used to do the spread picks on ESPN's College Game Day, he literally, like a few days ago, came out on a podcast and said he thinks that Ty Simpson is going to be a statue back there in the pocket, which means he has no idea who Ty Simpson is. He doesn't understand. He's probably never scouted this kid. He probably has no idea about his recruitment, anything like that. Ty Simpson can run the ball. Now, we'll say, and on a lighter note, there are a lot of times where Ty Simpson gets out of that pocket and he trips up on his own feet. If you've watched him in mop-up duty the last 2 years. So just saying, Ty, you got to get that figured out, man. Just if you're watching this, just don't fall, okay? And also carry the ball all the way across the goal line. Don't drop it before you. Some of you will remember that play. But Ty Simpson, yes, he is going to be one of the most athletic people on the field down in Tallahassee. He will be in most games that he plays. And I think Kalen DeBoer is wise to understand that, yes, just because you've got that, what feels like a prototypical quarterback that Alabama has had success with, doesn't mean you can't use Ty to run the ball. Ty Simpson, that's just an aspect of Alabama's offense that they need. That's what they needed. That's what they did with Michael Penix Jr. up there at Washington. Not saying that Ty Simpson is Penix Jr., but I think towards the end of the year, we're going to be having some serious conversations about how good Ty Simpson is. And if it starts too late, we might end up having some serious conversations about whether or not he's going to actually come back for another season. So Alabama is sitting in really good position with a dynamic dual threat quarterback who can basically do it all. We're hearing out of fall camp, out of practice, that Ty Simpson has been a sure thing. And so pending and barring something catastrophic, is if it clicks with Simpson, it clicks with these running backs, it clicks with the O-line, it clicks with the wide receivers. We saw it in the first half of that Georgia game with Jalen Milroe playing quarterback. It is going to be hard for any defense to stop that offense if it clicks. So thanks for sticking around with me. As always, you guys are the absolute best. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. You can find us on social media at Way Offsides. That's Way with 4 A's, never 3, never 5. 3's not enough, 5's too many. 4, just like in the word Alabama. Tell them, Skip.
Way, this is all caps, W-A-A-A-A-Y, Way.
Thank you, Skip. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Leave a big roll tide in the comment section.